The clock on Zara's phone read 12:17 a.m. The city felt like it had pulled a thick blanket of silence over itself. The street she walked down was wide, but nearly empty. Only the faint buzz of a flickering street lamp and the distant hum of a motorcycle somewhere far away. The moon hung low, pale and indifferent. Zara adjusted the strap of her small canvas bag on her shoulder and pulled her shawl tighter around her. She wasn't supposed to be out this late. Her mother hated it, and so did she. But the last bus from her part-time shift at the cafe had been late, and by the time she'd gotten off near her neighborhood, the streets were already nearly deserted. Her sneakers scuffed against the pavement. Every step echoed a little too loudly in her own ears. She told herself to walk quickly, but not look like she was hurrying. Not enough to attract attention, but fast enough to shorten the stretch between her and the warm light of her home. Laughter. She thought it was just the echo from the main road, but then it grew clearer. The kind of laughter that wasn't about joy, but about someone else. About her. Sister, were you going so late? The voice came from her left, from a small tea stall whose lights were still on. 3 young men were sitting there, leaning back on broken chairs, tea glasses in front of them, cigarettes glowing between their fingers. She kept walking, eyes fixed straight ahead. "Aray, didn't you hear me?" One of them called again, this time louder. "It's dangerous at night. Maybe you need company?" Their voices were sharp, teasing, but with an edge. That deliberate tone meant to unsettle. Zara's instinct told her to ignore them. She heard her friends say, "Don't respond. Don't give them anything to feed on." She passed the stall, the smell of overbrewed tea and stale smoke clinging to the air. The sound behind her made her stomach tighten. Footsteps. Quick, light, but definitely following. She didn't dare turn fully, just shifted her eyes enough to see one of them had gotten up. He was tall, wearing a faded hoodie, and he had that slow swagger in his walk that said he wasn't in a hurry, but he wasn't letting her get away, either. "Where's the fire, sister?" he called out. "Slow down. Talk to me." Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear it over his voice. Up ahead, the road split. One way led toward the small market, closed now, but with a few houses that still had lights on. The other way cut through a quieter street, past the park, directly to her home. The shorter route was darker. No question. The market route was longer, but maybe safer. Maybe. Behind her, the man laughed. "Don't be shy. We're just talking." The 2 others were still by the stall, but now watching closely, grinning, their eyes catching the dim light. She turned toward the market street. Her steps quickened. "Why you scared? You think I'm a bad guy? You don't even know me yet." Her phone was in her bag. She wanted to take it out, but doing that felt like admitting she was afraid. And if she called someone, what if it made him angry? A motorbike roared past, too fast, the rush of wind making her flinch. For a second, she wished it had stopped so she could ask for help, but she also knew the wrong rider could be just as dangerous. She glanced at the houses along the market road. Most shutters were down. The few with lights on had their gates locked. From behind, a second set of footsteps joined the first. She risked a glance. Another one of the boys had followed now. The third stayed at the stall. "Why are you out alone? No brother? No husband?" One of them called. "Or maybe you're looking for someone?" She ignored them, but her breathing was getting shallow. They didn't rush toward her. They stayed just close enough for her to know they were there. A small general store came into view. Its rolling shutter was half down, but an old man sat inside, counting change. Zara ducked inside, pretending to check the shelves. The boys didn't come in, but they stood outside, talking loudly, laughing in that way that made it clear their conversation was about her. The old man glanced at her, frowning slightly. "What you need?" She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "Uncle, those boys, they're following me." The man looked toward the street, then back at her. His mouth tightened. "You wait here. I'll tell them to leave." He stepped outside, his voice sharp. "Go on. Get lost. Don't bother her." The boys smirked, but didn't move immediately. One of them said something under his breath, and they laughed again. But after a few more moments, they walked away slowly, tossing glances over their shoulders. The old man returned, shaking his head. "This is why girls shouldn't be walking alone this late. Where do you live?" She told him. "Wait, my son's about to close the shop. He'll walk you." Son, a boy maybe 18, came out a few minutes later. He didn't speak much, just kept a few paces ahead as they walked. Zara kept glancing around. Every shadow felt suspicious, every noise too loud. When they reached her street, she saw her own gate, the faint light from the porch bulb, her mother's shadow moving inside. Relief came in a rush, so sudden it made her eyes sting. Inside, her mother was both angry and worried, her words tumbling over each other. Zara tried to explain, but halfway through, her voice broke. She hadn't cried outside, but now the tears wouldn't stop. Later, lying in bed, she kept hearing the footsteps behind her, the mocking voices. She knew they would probably be at that tea stall tomorrow night too, laughing at someone else. And she hated that the road she took every day would never feel the same again.